We've got a surprise guest crawling their way up into the studio with a bubbly water and an entire bunch of bananas.
Yes. I didn't get offered a beverage when I came on.
Well, we'll get you something. We got Maggie back as well.
Found someone.
Hello.
Found someone.
Welcome. You have a mic right there.
Yep. Need that. We'll make sure.
He's gonna read.
Gotta make sure all of our microphones are in proper working order.
Oh, was there a thing on top?
No, there never was.
Oh, just a hole.
Maybe there will be.
One day.
I'm not sure. They're
Here.
still making it. So we have.
Although you are very loud, you need a microphone.
Loud and proud.
So we have Paul Terranova in the studio.
Thanks for having me. Or was that too loud?
No, that's
No,
great.
you-
Welcome,
right.
Paul. Welcome.
Talk normal. That is normal.
They have
For
an
me.
AJW setting. Don't worry.
Yeah, the microphone goes down to negative.
So, Paul, you were fifth male, sixth
6.
something. I don't know. It was incredible.
Bronco reeled me in after KT, between KT and Putnam.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, that guy, he's a gamer, so you know that that's coming late in the race. And I was feeling good until I wasn't. And, yeah, the wheels came off just a little bit at the end, but my pacer, Esser, cracked the whip on me and got me in sub 28, so that was really fun.
yeah, it was fun to watch you come in because, yeah, I mean, you'd mentioned Jeff was, running pretty well. So were you. We watched you guys both come through the KT aid station. It was one of the quicker aid station transitions from either of you. And we're like, all right, yeah, I'm sure Paul knows that Jeff's back there. But I'm sure Jeff's also like, dang, Paul was moving really well too. So, yeah, how were those last, 10 or 15 miles?
Oscars and Grant Swamp Pass, those climbs just kicked me in the shins, and I spent a lot of energy just getting up those, and it was me and my pacer Stephen Moore, and those are really tough. Plus the descents on the far side of those, they're tough, and just kind of ran out of gas towards the end, but was trying to just keep distance. I knew that he was back there, 10 minutes or so in that ballpark, and hoping to get out of KT and get out of sight. And we heard the cowbells as he came through, and my pacer Esser jumped back in for that, and he caught me within a mile and a half or so of it, maybe less. I think probably about a mile, and he was just rolling, so he was gone.
I mean, this is your first Hard Rock. That was his seventh. So I feel like you did a really good job for your first one. How many years has this been coming?
My first year putting in was for the 2013 race. So I look back, I've got a Hard
10
Rock
years ago.
binder, and for the 2013 race, it was a paper application where you ticked off the races that you did and you mailed in a check. And I made a photocopy of it because that's what I do. And I forgot that Western States used to be a qualifier for Hard Rock. So that first year in 2012, I did the Grand Slam. So I did Western, Vermont, Leadville, and Wasatch. Western, Leadville, and Wasatch were my 3 qualifiers. And those were 3 of my 4 first hundreds right that year. So I've been waiting, since the 13 race.
And you're doing a slam this year, right? The Rocky Mountain Slam?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I've
You
been
and
waiting.
Bronco Billy.
Mm-hmm. I've been waiting to get into Hard Rock so I can Rocky Mountain Slam. And I'm going to do the original 4, Hard Rock, Leadville, Wasatch, and the Bear. And I don't think Jeff got into Leadville, so he's doing Bighorn, Hard Rock. Then he has a pretty good gap between Hardrock, and Wasatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, this kicks off your Rocky Mountain Slam.
It does. It does.
What
so
are
it's
you,
good.
What are you doing for recovery?
Well, I got a
Whatever Meredith tells you to.
pretty good sized blister on the bottom of my heel that I have to tend to. So hopefully that's good to go by Leadville. I think it'll be fine, and it'll be just probably easy biking, maybe some swimming, some stand-up paddle. I think it'll be really, really light because I'm wrecked, right? I have pretty much full body rigor mortis.
I went out to try to find him, and he's like, I have rigor mortis. I was like,
Rightfully
I don't know.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to piggyback him in here, but he can't even pick his legs up to like
You gotta
help
bump
me
him
out.
on
I can't carry
stage.
dead weight like a sack of potatoes. So
Good job.
I don't want to drop him.
But it'll, Meredith and Nick Petitella, who's on our crew, right? They cajoled me to walk over here to see Annie Hughes finish, who's from Leadville. So that was really fun, and I slow shuffled over here.
I'm just impressed you're not like in bed. Yeah,
He's pretty energetic.
I'm just.
I got back, showered, took a nap, maybe,
Okay.
or just closed my eyes, right? Just lay down on the bed and closed my eyes for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was, just to.
You probably don't
Do
want to
what?
go to sleep like now. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night and be awake.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fall asleep.
Well, you will, but you think if you slept now, you would fall asleep all day?
Sleep for
And then wake up
17
in the
hours.
middle.
I'd
the
probably
night.
get hungry, and then I'd have to eat, and then I'd go back to bed.
What
and-
are you going to eat?
I didn't have a huge appetite when I finished. It took a little while for that to roll in, so I just had some sliced turkey with some avocado before I came over here.
Good
and
protein,
I
fat,
think I'm ready for something more substantial.
like frozen margaritas.
Frozen margaritas, that would be pina colada would be great.
Delicious.
Meredith's been talking about them every time I see her.
Yeah, Safeway in Montrose. They have these frozen drinks that you put in the freezer and ready
Like
to go.
a big
so we're
kid
gonna try
Capri
those out.
Sun.
Yeah.
Big Kid Capri Sun.
Something to have at the aid station.
Sounds dangerous.
So, is this the hardest race you've ever done? Because you've done so many really hard races. Hardest 100, because you've done races that are long.
Hands down, right? The steep climbs, the steep descents, they are brutal, right? The footing isn't always great, right? There were muddy areas, but then in between the muddy areas, the trail was rock hard, right? So you had this mushy bog that you went through and mud, but then you transition into pretty hard single track. And some of that single track is really narrow, and for somebody like me
Yeah.
with size 13 feet, right, trying to get your paws in that single track isn't that easy. So you kind of have to dance around it.
I run like a duck, so I also have problems with single track.
Had you trained much on the course before, or?
So I've paced last year,
Okay.
and then and then the year before, and then in 2017. So I've seen the course one direction or the other via pacing. We live in Twin Lakes, so I've got the Sawatch range but looking back, right, that terrain is just not as steep as the stuff here or the course here, right? Certainly you can make the course a little more gentler, but the way that they route it straight up, it's
I had a friend that he got there for, he got into Hardrock. He was from Pennsylvania, and he went out to the Sawatch just because that's where his friends were. And they did a bunch of mountains there and acclimatized, and he got here and was like, oh, wow, this is really steep.
yes.
But you got up to Elbert a bunch. That was like your little
Elbert, Massive,
local run.
Antero, Tabwash,
14
yeah,
or
14ers
Chavano.
or-
So I can
Yeah.
link up a bunch of those, like what I did for prepping for Nolan's last fall. But that it's just different than, right, the descending is different off of those. So next time when I come run clockwise, that they'll be definitely more steep uphill climbing and steep descending.
I think we heard AJW talking about the ramps and the walls. And as I was out there pacing and just having been, in the area, I think that clockwise direction sounds like a little bit more fun, because just the ability to run some of those downs versus having to just not die and fall on your super steep downs, right? Plus how much, it's impacting your legs. So hope you get to do that clockwise direction. Looks like fun.
It can be dangerous too, but
Hey,
I was hiking
ready.
up with
I'll
up
be ready.
Engineer with Wardian, and I was like, this would be fun to run down.
Yeah, exactly. And up out of Sherman, running down that.
Camp Bird is smooth.
Running down Camp
Camp
The
Bird.
Bird is
smoothest
really
part
good.
of the
Absolutely.
entire course.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably very familiar with it. living
Jim
in
Brown
Europe.
Hill is the first pitch. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Just out of town. So just above the ice park, there's, as you start on Camp Bird Road, the first half mile is called Jim Brown Hill, and it's, I think you get up to like a 22% grade. It's the very beginning of the Imogene as well. So, but yeah, I've run that road a lot of times, and I'd much rather run down it than
Probably, I think a lot of people in Silverton go to Ouray in
Yeah, train in
the
the
winter
winter.
just because Camp Bird is like that
Or
one
Sabrina
spot.
Stanley trained a ton on Camp
Yeah,
Bird Road.
that's
Just
all you
in the
got.
winter.
But it's
'Cause
good.
when it's snow-packed, you can run on it.
Mm-hmm. Did
So-
you run that? Did you run? How much running did you do up Camp Bird?
probably 50 to 75%.
Wow,
Wow.
that is
We did, and I had talked to or texted with Ryan Smith, who went sub 24 2 years ago. Here he was he third, I want to say, and he's like, hey, if you want to run a good time, you got to run as much of those as possible. Camp Bird, Engineer, coming out of Sherman. So that was in the back of my head, right? Run as much, and I had Zach Miller pacing me, and he was fantastic. He was.
Oh, we
just,
did have him on to get some dirt.
Zach
He didn't
attacked.
really give his dirt, but he definitely had a lot, maybe a little bit of a more fun time pacing you than me. I won't take it personally. I feel really bad about last year. I'm sorry, Zach.
You got the full experience.
He did.
Yeah.
And then you gave him a nice, fun time. This is how it's done. How not to do it. And Paul.
So it was good. It was
super
good.
impressive to run
we
up
ran
that.
with headlamps off for as long as we possibly could, because we knew people were behind us, kind of going up and.
Was it Camp Bird when the
Camp
sun
Bird.
set for you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. We had to put lights on right before Governor, as we came in there, before that. So. Yeah,
What was
that's
your
always
favorite
fun.
aid station?
I did not spend. I am sorry for the aid station. I was just in there and out, get what I need.
Don't need to apologize.
Yeah, don't-
that sounds like some
not
smart
partake.
racing.
Right. They offered all kinds of great food, which I would have loved to. I knew that it was hot, and didn't want to chow down on quesadillas or
Smart.
which is fine if you're going a little bit slower, but at that pace and with the temperature of it, hard to eat a lot of solid food.
You do
Good.
liquid nutrition, or what's
Yeah.
the strategy? Okay.
Yeah, liquid nutrition, gels, those maple syrups were great. Couple chips here and there.
I mean, the theme of, we were talking about this early in the morning, it seems like yesterday, but the stoppage time, Skylar was pulling up the stoppage time for the winners, and then, like overall, and the theme, it looks like the less, we're trending as, like Courtney, I don't know how accurate all of the stoppage time is, because there's crewing outside of the check-in, but it's pretty minimal. You just have to keep moving if you want to be competitive. Well, Aurelian's time was combined Aurelian and Benot were like under an hour.
Yeah, it was like 35 minutes for Arleon, and then Benot was 25 minutes. Because there was actually a couple aid stations that he full on skipped, which was pretty ballsy to
Wow.
see.
Yeah, which ones?
Let's see, let me pull up my map just so I don't butcher it.
Did he run through KT?
He skipped Burroughs Park. So
Right.
he went from
Which is
Sherman.
risky because there's not a creek until higher up on Handies.
Yeah, he ran straight through it, and then
That's a long
he skipped KT.
Okay. And that's a long stretch after KT to
Oh,
Putnam.
skipped Governor Basin as well. on the way
That
to
one's
Kroger's.
crazy to
that
me.
one, you just blew by that
Because
just on the other
Burroughs,
side of the road.
you've just come from an aid station 4 miles ago, so I guess if you don't drink anything, whatever. But
Unless you have it on you.
right,
Right. Plus, you could scoop. I scoop so much water
Mhm.
from creeks.
Yep.
A lot
totally.
of runoff.
I think
Lot
most
of runoff.
most people probably. I ran with a filter last year.
Yeah.
Especially when it's this hot, you might as well utilize the creeks.
Totally.
yeah.
It tastes super good too.
Yeah, icy cold.
Very cold.
Don't eat the red snow though.
No.
No.
Bacteria. It's very bad for you.
Not the good
Isn't
kind.
that the orange spray paint that they had out there?
Don't eat either of those. Actually, that spray paint's probably better for you.
Yeah,
It was
I think
approved by the
there's-
Forest
Then
Service.
the minerals.
Yes. Turns out, yeah, that spray paint took, what did they say, 4 months to get that approved
Yeah,
with
it
the
was
Forest
like a whole
Service?
thing.
It was helpful.
Good.
It was helpful. There were some spots where you definitely needed to keep your eyes open and look for either the markings on the snow or the flags to know where to go.
So from our point of view, you were one of the happiest people out there. Always, we were like, oh, he looks the best so far. Were there any low moments out there where you found yourself doubting what you were doing in the mountains, or things stay pretty solid?
No, they stayed pretty solid other than at the end, right, where our just downhill legs were compromised and I could get it a good shuffle. I think we did under 90 minutes from Putnam to the finish, so that's pretty respectable.
Yeah, definitely. Not worried about not finishing, though, at that
Right.
point.
Yeah, there was none of that. It was full confidence all day and just grateful and a sense of gratitude for finally getting the opportunity to I call it my San Juan thesis defense, right? Because they call this a graduate level
Yeah.
run. So this is
Postgraduate, isn't it?
postgraduate,
Level
yeah,
run.
thesis defense. So I passed. I feel like I passed. Maybe I give myself a B plus, A minus, just because that last stretch wasn't as good as it could have been.
What would you have done differently?
Well, the training, right? Not necessarily in the race, but just more steep uphills, steep downhills to have better legs, and maybe give Jeff a run for his buddy. But he blew by us so fast.
I'd say you did pretty well.
yeah. Well, Paul, thanks for joining us. I don't want to keep you too long because I don't want the rigor mortis to set in fully.
It's feeling good after
Otherwise,
this
yeah,
flat soda.
And
the
maybe
Florida.
maybe that's like a good recovery drink. I mean, you could hang out on this couch the whole time.
I get stuck here
Yeah.
forever.
Meredith will
Congratulations.
go on
you.
without you.
Yeah, is she still here?
We were trying to get her up here.
Oh,
Right here.
oh no, she's
Meredith, come up here. Tell us some fun stories. She
there.
doesn't have. She's not.
About Zach picking up trash on Camper Road.
Zach pick up trash. Like you're the
Being a good
storyteller.
trail
One of my
steward.
passion projects. So if you follow me on Strava, you'll see that I'm single-handedly trying to clean up Lake County roadside ditches and cans and bottles and you name it. Fireball and Keystone Light by far the biggest offenders. Modelo is making a big push, but hats off to Zach Miller for helping clean up Camper Road, because I've got a good eye for those shiny objects. And there were a couple of plastic water bottles in the ditch and some cans that he picked up and crumpled and put in his pack. So thank you, Zach.
Nice.
love
Way to
that.
go, Zach.
That's awesome. Yeah, those damn little fireball things. They're everywhere.
All sizes.
Yeah.
The little shooters, right? The pint, the quart, the big bottles, you name it, you'll find it.
I never see anyone drinking them. They just like pour them out and throw them out the window or something.
Well,
Paul.
thank you, Paul.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks for
very
Enjoy
coming
much.
it.
by.
I will.
Be careful on
well.
the stairs. If you
I'll
need a
help you.
spot, yeah, Maggie's got you.
All right.
That's
All
what
right,
I'm
Paul
here for.
Terranova, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations.